What's going on, Endless fans? Will Curran back again for another Whiteboard Wednesday, and today we're talking about how the days of the week can affect your AV pricing. And this is a very, very small detail that really can affect your AV budget that you might not be made aware of. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, how does this matter to me? It shouldn't matter based on this, but if you're more aware of this sort of thing, it helps you understand as far as planning your events and your schedules and everything like that. And one thing to keep in mind too, that every company is slightly different. When I kind of explain this, some major fact about this has to do with the fact of what weekends are to people and when offices are closed. And we'll explain that really shortly. But today we're talking about the days of the week and how that affects your budget. The big thing is to make sure that you plan ahead. Plan ahead when it comes to this sort of thing. You want to make sure that you do that because if you think about the way that you're planning your event, you might be able to land it perfectly in the middle of this kind of weird zone that can happen that will cause you extra costs. So, all right, so we're going to plan this event, and it has to do with the fact of when the warehouse for the AV company is open. Most companies, in general, usually are closed on the weekends, right? Everybody wants to have a Saturday or Sunday off. Even event companies should have a Saturday and Sunday off. Obviously, we'll work weekends, all that sort of stuff, but when it comes to the warehouse team who is prepping the gear, getting it ready for the next show, cleaning it up, getting it prepared and organized for the next show, typically those warehouses are closed on Saturdays and Sundays, right? You can't expect a company to be open 24 hours a day. If there is a company that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no weekends, that is awesome. That's totally cool. Disregard this and stop watching this video right now. But chances are they like to take their Saturdays and Sundays off, so they tend to do work ahead of time in the week before. So, for example, this is an exact example of when this kind of perfect storm of events can happen. Let's say, for example, your event is loading in at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. on a Monday morning, right? That means that obviously you want to make sure that gear is all prepped and set up and cleaned and checked and everything like that beforehand, right? They're not going to clean and prep the gear and get it ready the day of your event at 7 a.m. or from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. unless it's a crazy turnaround and a crazy weekend. So what chances are is they'll do it the day before? Well, for most warehouses, they're usually closed on the weekends, right? So what that means is they're not going to do it on Sunday. They're not going to get your gear ready on Sunday. They're not going to get it done on Saturday. They're probably going to prep and get all of your gear ready on Friday. Most AV companies will do it this way. So what that means is, hey, look, we'll just get it done before the weekend. So then that way, on Monday morning, when the truck driver comes to pick up the gear at 6 a.m. for your 7 a.m. load-in or 8 a.m. load-in, whatever it may be, boom, it's all ready to go Friday by the end of business. With me so far? So what's going to happen then is your event loads in totally fine, right? Let's say it's an all-day load-in, and the event starts on Tuesday. Let's say it even starts on Monday. It doesn't really matter as much. But let's say your event then goes on from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and this is a typical 3-day conference, right? But then you have a late night gala dinner or something like that. So the team comes in and tears and loads out everything on Friday then. Well, what that means though is that the gear's gonna get loaded out, it gets loaded on a truck, it comes back to the warehouse, and let's say that's at the end of the day, right? Let's say the teardown's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. or so, or the 2 p.m. or so, which is about a 5-hour day. What that means then is that gear's gonna get back in the afternoon, and chances are it won't get prepped and cleaned and returned back into the warehouse back until Monday. Sometimes they can get prepped if they need to, back again on Friday, but what that ends up happening is it means the gear is occupied and used by an event. The second you prep it and get it ready for show, it can't go on another show, it can't make money elsewhere, right? It means that it's in use from Friday, Saturday, even though you're not using it, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then finally comes back into the warehouse, maybe on Friday afternoon. But to be honest, they're probably not going to get a chance to clean it all in 2 hours left in the business day, and it comes back really in on Monday. What you're going to find though is this week to week means that the gear is gone for a whole week. If you've ever done AV pricing before, you've seen this thing known as a day rate. And a lot of AV companies love to, for example, give you a discount. They might say something like, hey, your event is, 3 days long. Normally, we have to charge for every day of the gear, but we'll give it through for 1.5 days or 1 day or something like that. Well, that's really, really easy to do when the event is only 3 days and the gear is, for example, loaded in on Tuesday, the event's on Wednesday, Thursday, and it's back on Friday, right? It's only gone for a couple of days. We'll give you the discount. But when it's gone for an entire week, then the AV company obviously has to make money for that because instead they might have been able to get 2 or 3 events in this week for that same gear. So what you'll end up finding more common than not is if you have this long schedule where it's on for so many days and it loads in. It just happens to be that the gear has to be prepped the week before and then doesn't come back until the week after or 10 in the week, you end up getting charged a week rate. And what a week rate usually is 3 days of what the normal gear is. So it means your cost can go up by 3 times if you're usually paying one single day. So again, this all depends on the AV company and what they do as far as their operations and, do they work on Saturdays? How fast are they at prepping gear? Everything like that. But you want to always keep in mind this idea of prepping and getting the gear is always going to take time. And the last thing you want to do is rush this gear check. And that's why AV companies tend to have a whole day in between events where they're cleaning the gear, they're checking it, everything like that. Because the last thing you want is, let's say a projector breaks on the show before or in transit on the way back to the warehouse, and then they just ship it right off to your next event. That'd be really bad. You want that quality control and that test as well. So that's something just to kind of keep in mind when it comes to your schedule. My recommendation, if you're wondering how to fix this, is to potentially figure out a way to have your event load in on a Tuesday, and then instead maybe gets picked up on a Saturday in the truck driver. So then that way you're occupying one of those close dates and it gets returned then. It just seems like always on these Monday morning, early morning load-ins, it tends to be that the gear is getting prepped and checked on a Friday. And then usually for most 3-day conferences or so, it means that we're loading out on a Friday, or maybe we're loading in late on Tuesday, Thursday night, and the gear is just coming back again on a Monday. So I tend to try to avoid these early morning Monday load-ins because the gear ends up getting occupied for 3 days. So getting into the deep dive of AV nerdism, I hope this was really, really helpful into understanding how an AV company's operations can affect your budget and what you're providing for your event and all the gear and all that sort of stuff. So I would love to know though, do you have any tricks as far as how you lay out your schedule to save money on AV? If so, post it in the comments down below. Let us know. We'd love to know how you are, the tips and tricks that you've come up with to saving money when it comes to your AV schedule. And if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and smash that like button. But if you didn't like it, give it a dislike and let us know in the comments below. What can we do better? What could we have elaborated on a little bit better? But if you really, really love this content and you want more of it, smash that subscribe button and you'll get tons of Whiteboard Wednesdays every single week. And we hope to see you guys next week on Whiteboard Wednesday. This has been Will Curran teaching you how the days of the week can affect your AV pricing. We'll see you guys all later.